Welcome to the New Cult Podcast. Here with me is my host,
Dante
and
from
oh,
the middle of the ocean.
honestly, yeah, you might as well see he is in the ocean because I can't find this man. Uh, see,
Nowhere to be seen.
I'm afraid this man turned into his evil cousin Dante Asul.
Oh no. There?
Yeah, he's over there. Now what I want to talk about today is Dante. Are you an idea man? Are you
Uh
think I need
Unfortunately, I am.
too often?
Too often, honestly. But yeah, I mean it's as an idea man, people respect my ideas. They come to me for advice in certain fields. Not all fields, obviously, but certain fields. Um I've been called creative here and there. But there's two different types of ideal men, right? Or ideal woman. But
Well, man.
obviously there's a types that I've met, ones who are very logical, ones who are very forward thinking and are very grounded and understand how the world works. And then you have people who almost you would call maybe consider like kind of like a mad scientist. They don't fully understand how the world works. Sometimes they don't understand how the world works either way. And their ideas are more based off what they like and what they hope, with no real way to technically achieve it. But hey, it happens, right? And I'm not going to say either ones are wrong, right? Sometimes you do need a little bit of that craziness when you're making ideas. But those are the two types of ideal men that I see. And what about you, Jesse?
I think I'll be honest. I do understand some things, but I do fall into flights of fancy. I do believe sometimes, and I'm willing to admit that I'm not entirely based in reality or logic, to some degree. I'm operating on
So,
leaps.
so I'll ask you quickly. So when you like come up with, so would you consider yourself an ideal man?
Yeah, I do believe I am as such. I'm someone who tries to come up with different approaches or ideas or how I think
But
things.
what I'll ask you is when someone is asking you for ideas, and it's for a subject that you do not know, do you speak on it?
I usually preface it with saying, "I don't know. Don't quote me on this, but I believe this could work, or this is how I would think based on this."
Okay, so you give warning.
I give a preface because it's like if you because I you don't know if someone's gonna run with your idea and just run and just then blame you afterwards because I've seen that happen a few times. So one time some guy
Yeah.
asked me for like, and mind you, this guy knows how to date. I don't know why the fuck he was asking me, but he was asking me for dating advice in a loose sense or relationship advice, and I was like, look, the only thing I could say is just preserve your respect, don't tolerate something, and leave it at that. But like, didn't listen to me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually took the worst part of what I said and then just did that and further damaged the relationship. And it's like, I guess that was my fault, but at the same time, um, I feel like it was him. I
But
feel like he knew better in some ways, and he just
what was
wanted
the
some.
worst part of your advice?
I'd say if she's not honoring your, if she's not respecting you, because like she was flirting around with too many other guys online, right? Talking to them, right?
Okay, well, I mean that's okay. Well, I don't think that's his fault that the relationship ended.
It's not it's not his fault necessarily, but then he decided. I said like, oh, like set your boundaries, set some straight lines, don't feel ways, right? And for some
Hmm.
reason, he said he took the "don't feels ways" as just to be callous, and I was like, "That's not what I said. I said just assert yourself. That's all, right?"
Yeah.
But lo and behold, that's my fault. I think it was fine what I
I
said.
mean, man, I don't think there's anything wrong with what you said, right? I mean, I think when it comes to like dating advice, there's multiple ways to approach it, right? And something like that, right? Everyone's technically, I don't know. I guess I wouldn't really even consider that more like ideas, right? Because like, do you consider advice ideas?
Well, let's say you're in a rock and a hard place. You kind of need something to think around it, right? Because let's say conventional wisdom is not holding up.
When I think, I guess when I think of like ideas, I think more of something that's like crafted towards an individual or individuals, right? Um, and I think advice is more of like a roadmap of things, right? Like I guess when I think about like an idea, you kind of do get a little bit more into like someone's like psychology or how people will perceive things or stuff like that. And I think when it comes to like advice, like, drink more water, right? I guess if you change it to drink more water to accomplish something,
I-
right? I think that's when it turns more into an idea, right?
If you want a different example, I guess would be in another case, if you don't mind, if I could present a different example.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Um, for this one class, I was like, oh, it was a language class. I think you know which one already, right? I was like, oh, we should do
Hmm.
like a show, a specific type of cultural play or show. And I was like, oh, that's a great idea. That's very cool. And then like we went to the prof, and he's like, look, I appreciate that you know that. I appreciate that you're willing to research and look into that, but that is way too ambitious for your level, right? The amount of
Ooh.
cultural context and knowledge you need to perform that kind of show is far too much, and you do not have that.
I need to ask, was I in this group?
It might have been. I might have been either first or second year, but I said joking, let's do a Rockago show, and the prof was like, no, 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 no,
No, no, no,
no,
no.
no. Like, I appreciate that you know what that is. I appreciate the inventiveness of it, but this is far too ambitious for you.
Hmm. Okay. No, that's fair. That's
And
fair.
I think that's the key point. Great,
So
interesting,
so you're
interesting idea, but far too ambitious.
yeah. I mean, I think you can still have an ambitious idea, right? Because I guess more what I'm saying is what your idea was. It's still something that is still possible, just not for you, right?
It'd be possible, but in a different time, with more like how you say better skills, I guess,
Yeah,
more
yeah, yeah.
experience.
But what I mean is, at the moment, it wouldn't be possible for you. It's still a valid idea, though. And I think something what I would consider more crazy is if someone made a invention. If someone was saying like, "Yo, why don't they make fucking wireless shower heads?" Right? Clearly, there's multiple logical steps that escape that man.
man, man,
Right?
man was marred when he thought of that one.
Right? No, but that's what I mean. Like that's like an example of someone who doesn't understand how things work and trying to present it as like, oh shit, this would be cool. It kind of gets more into like sci-fi thinking, in my opinion.
I mean,
Right? Believing that this is going to happen when there's no reason for it to happen.
that's what I could call a shroom thought.
Yeah, but people kind of have those ideas all the time, and it's funny too when people bring up like one thing you'll always know is that people don't know anything about laws, criminal law, or any forms of law, or people don't even know their own rights because people will say things that they believe is true legally, and it's not true. And I think that also like fucks up people. Um.
They do.
So yeah, no.
My
Huh?
favorite is when people say they can sue you for XYZ things when realistically you can't.
Oh yeah. Like defamation is anyone who knows anything about defamation
It's
is
hard.
it's an incredibly hard thing to sue someone for. But people feel like, oh, I can just sue someone for defamation if they say something bad about me, and I lost a bunch of followers, right? Because you would have to prove damages, and that's very difficult to prove. There's a lot. It's very very hard, right? Um,
I
to prove that.
I also feel like one you would have to prove those weren't necessarily true in some degree. Actually, well, that doesn't even matter. Forget that. I'm gonna drop what I was gonna say there.
Right. You would also have to prove that the person you're suing is the main person spreading it or was, heavily involved in it, right? If they got their information from a different
Or if
source,
they had like were doing
you
conspiracy.
would have to prove that they had malicious intent on destroying you and not just saying something off what they thought, right? It's like, whoops, I thought you were a pedophile, but turns out you're not, right? Or whoops, I thought you were a woman beater, or something like that, right? Something that can like easily ruin someone's reputation, right? So
Okay, okay,
defamation.
okay, Def
Um,
Noodles.
wait, what happened with Duff Noodles?
No,
I
I was
don't
I was
know.
I was I was just making a joke about like yeah, I accuse you of being a pedo. I was like, okay, Def Noodles.
Oh no.
Man has
Um, But yeah, no, it's basically how it is. We even saw it recently with the whole Bayonetta thing, just false numbers going thrown out there, and you know, again. But you would you say you align more with being a number one or a number two?
I'd say at number two, and I think if you see, and it's only because of a recent thing I had, and I don't know how 100% real, like I don't know if this is necessarily related or not, but like one guy in like this one class I had, right? There's two brown guys, like one was Guyanese, one was Indian. They were both dark skinned,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But like for some reason they got the two of them mixed up with each other all the time, for me, I'm faces. Despite the fact that I don't care to remember people's names, and I think everyone looks the same, um,
Hmm.
which I know is a weird like contradiction. I knew the difference between the two of them. It's to me it wasn't that hard. Like their voices and several other features distinguish them, right? Um,
Yeah.
but for some reason, like people always mix these two up. And the one guy, he's a good guy. I'll say one thing, but he was very sensitive to the fact and was very offended and hurt because he thought it was racial profiling, right?
Yeah.
That they were getting the two of them mixed up, right? They're just like, oh, all brown mans look the same. In the back of my mind, I was like, well, no, I don't think that's the case. In my mind, what I said to him was like, are you sure that it's racially motivated? He's like, well, maybe it's not maliciously motivated, but it's still racially in that sense. And I said, well, maybe you're just not that important enough for them to like consider knowing the
Oof.
difference, or you're just not that like if someone doesn't know my name, I just assume I'm not important enough to know their name. I'm not important enough to them to know their name. Likewise for me for the same, right? It's not that there's any
Yeah.
sense of maliciousness. It's just you're not important. You kind of just don't matter. And a
You're
lot of
not
people
that guy, bud.
see a
You're
lot of
not that guy.
and I asked my mom about this. The fact she's like, yeah, I think I'd rather assume the person's racist than assume they just don't give a shit about me.
Oof.
And apparently that's a common trend where like the idea that you have no importance or that you don't matter in any sense is a very hollowing feeling. But that's what I said. I said you're just not important. You're not that of a relevant quandary to them. So therefore, that's
I,
why
I, I mean,
they don't bother to care to distinguish between you and the other person.
I was gonna say, I think I see this issue a lot too when it comes to so people who have a very like have a lack of understanding of East Asian stuff, right? And sometimes they'll see like Japanese writing, like I'm not talking about like kanji, I'm talking about like katakana, hiragana,
Yeah,
and say, oh, isn't that Chinese? Or people who see, certain Korean stuff, like Korean artworks and stuff like that, and saying, oh, isn't that Chinese, right? Um,
you're not.
it's not racist. It's just they just have a very lack of they just have a lack of understanding of the East, East Asians, right? So that's very common, and and again, it's not racist. It's just they don't care for it, so therefore they don't know about it, right?
Yeah, that was my possible idea, reason for why they didn't get his identity right several times. Profs, teachers, classmates, as such, right? And I'll be honest, like I'm sure he has a valid way to feel however he does, and he's like, how do you feel that way? When I said you're just not relevant. I said if no one knows who I am, I just assume not maliciousness that they just don't care about me. I'm not
Yeah.
important to them,
I,
and
I think also a lot of people kind of go into defaults too, right? It's like if you see someone who is again like East Asian, you might just assume that they're just you just call them Asian or whatever, right? The same way if you see someone who is like brown, you might just think, oh, they're Indian, right? Not even knowing whether they're from Bangladesh or this or that, right? Same with Middle Eastern, right? Someone could be like Iraqian, or someone could be from Lebanese, and sometimes they'll just say, oh, they're just Middle Eastern, right? Sometimes
they're
people just
just
go to
Arab.
default, or sometimes people go to the most popular, right? Right? I'm sure a lot of Canadians go overseas and people assume that they're American, right? So I think people just go to a default. That's it. There's nothing racist about it. It's just they don't know, right?
Well,
And you can't blame them for that.
I don't blame him necessarily, but I disagreed. But of course, I didn't say you're fucking wrong and I think you're a fool, right? Not because I
Mm,
thought that necessarily, just because I thought like, no, I don't think it's that malicious, right? And even this one case where like one
Yeah.
group member was asking him, it's like, "Oh, do you know who I am?" Almost as if like, and he took offense to that. Almost like he thought she thought like he thought that she thought he was an idiot or some sort of halfwit, right?
Yeah.
And I'd say, well, no, because maybe she just doesn't think anyone cares to know who she is.
Oh, actually, I just thought of another example. It's like when moms call all consoles Nintendo,
Yeah, I suppose it would be like that.
right?
Um, oh yeah, actually, that's facts. That's fucking me up now that you say that.
No, but it's the same thing, right?
Does
It's
your
not.
mom
It's not a
call?
fucking racist to consoles.
Did you when your mom brought when you brought on the PS5? Did your mom said, "Oh yes"? Did you buy a new Nintendo, Dante?
No, she just calls consoles games.
Oh yeah, my mom does that too. She's either Nintendo or games.
And she doesn't even say Nintendo. She just says games. Oh, the games. Why don't you give them that game? What game? Just that console. Yeah, just that. She just calls them games.
Just the whole
The
thing's a
game
game.
and the console is games.
It's just not even games. Game. She just
Yeah.
points at your whole bookcase
Yeah.
full of shelf full of games. It's like game.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, right.
It's
But again, like
I
I said,
like
like
that. I
just
like
people just
that.
go to defaults. People just go to the defaults, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just they don't have an understanding, right? My mom has no reason. Like this might sound fucked. My mom has no reason to understand games. Those people might just not have any reason to understand you, right?
Well, it wasn't even about me, but it's just like what I was citing it.
Well, not you. Obviously, it's not you, right? But like the person, right? And
It
I
yeah.
no go.
No, no, go ahead. I was gonna add something after.
No, I was gonna say like it's you can call it like ignorance and stuff like that, and it is ignorance, but it's not hurtful ignorance. It's just they generally don't know and they generally don't care, right? I don't go around. There's things I don't know about, right? And I might default to certain things just because they don't know enough about it,
Well,
and that's fine.
to
I
him,
don't know every fucking like formula in physics, but if I look at it, I'll be like, oh, that's just physics,
to him, it was
right?
about the microaggressions because he's very. I don't want to say hung up, but he's very concerned with the micro things, right? And like for me, like I don't know, it's weird. Like racism is this weird thing that I'm unsure how to feel about and unsure to mark when people talk about it, right? Like when people talk about racism, I'm not sure because I assume if someone doesn't like me, I just assume it's because of me first, which to some people is a very strange mentality, apparently.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, he thought my idea was a bit out of scope. He thought my reasons were like way more callous. He's like, and of course, even like there's just a general disconnect with other people in parties where I would say like people say like they're offended that I would not accept their ideas or agree with their ideas. Like I don't have to accept or agree with anything.
Yeah, no, you don't.
And they said, "But why? You're not even humoring." I said, "I mean, I could hear it, I can acknowledge it, but I don't have to accept it. Just because you've argued, just because I've argued something, does not mean you've rejected my ideas. I'm not offended. I don't care you did it or not."
I, I've been watching like a lot of debates. I mean, but here's the thing too. One thing I realized very quickly is that not everyone is equipped to debate, and you see something a lot in debates where people just shut down,
Yeah.
where they are completely wrong about something, their thoughts, their views about something, and they get asked a question that they will either refuse not to answer or just ignore it completely because they know they cannot answer that, right? Either it's something they didn't think about or realize that at that point, if they were to answer that, at least honestly, they would lose. And I kind of thought about it, you know, it's like when me and my friends have conversations about certain things, whether that be like games or certain events in history or whatever it is, if you do not have a certain background of understanding what you're talking about, you can't debate it, right? And some people also have the mindset where they can't be wrong about certain things, they can't accept certain things, and no matter what you say to them, you'll never change their mind. And it's just very. It's like the saying, right? No tweet has ever changed someone's mind, right? Never replying to someone's tweet, you'll never be able to change their mind. I've seen it happen sometimes, but certain in general, people
Imagine
are
a
just
world.
really, really.
Imagine a world where a retweet changes someone's opinion. It's like, you know what, you are right.
That
I agree, and it's like
that would be
that's the good
crazy.
ending. That's the good ending. But we're not gonna get that.
Good. No, but what I mean is like, yeah, no, I realize like majority of people just aren't equipped to debate, right? And the person you're talking to be honest, if they felt a certain way, there's nothing you're gonna say to really change his mind or gonna feel that way at all, right? They would honestly have to mild down themselves.
I mean, a good example in my case is like I'm the worst person to debate with because I have something in my mind that I'm not relaying to you, right? Or
Yeah,
I don't even fully explain a premise. I just say something and then I roll with it, and then people are like hung up on the fact that I said that, right?
yeah,
Or if
no,
I
but
or if I'm confused, I don't particularly bother to clarify it for myself because I don't know. I'm not having a debate with me is trying to untangle a nest.
I've debated with you.
You have, but you know how to deal with me, so you already know what to deal with. Some people have known me for years and they still don't know how to talk to me.
I think what fucked me up was realizing that someone could be completely wrong about something and win a debate because the person defending the other side just doesn't know anything, right? You can lose subjective debates and you can win objective ones. And that's the crazy thing about debates,
Oh
right?
yeah.
It's just funny sometimes, right? It's because it's like if you were debating someone about apples and oranges, right? Which one's a better fruit? If one person starts talking about like nutritional facts, what people like surveys where people like generally prefer or benefits to it, and you don't know anything about your fucking fruit, you lost. Even if completely it's an objective thing, right? Or a subjective thing, you lost. It's you generally do need to know your shit if you want to debate it, and sometimes people they take a stance on something, they're emotional about something, but they don't know about it, right? Like look what's going on right now with crypto, which I didn't want to talk about. But yeah, if you look on what's going around with crypto, back when people were buying crypto and taking everyone's fucking advice, they didn't know anything, and they were taking advice from people who didn't know anything, right? And now people who thought they were going to be rich in their 30s are gonna they lost everything. They lost it
Fucking
all,
boogie.
right?
Fucking boogie.
Oh yeah, Boogie. I do. I want to talk about Boogie. Can we talk about Boogie?
Go ahead.
Okay, so are we done about the whole ideal guy thing?
I suppose. I mean, I think it's something we can revisit because I could definitely say Dante's a type one without a doubt. And I know that's bold of me
Yeah.
to label someone as another type, but like I could say that, right?
Well, I think for me is because when I was a kid, I always asked questions. I was a kid who who wouldn't shut up. I would just constantly ask questions. I don't ask questions anymore, mainly because Google exists.
I was gonna
But
say you look for
also,
answers.
I don't know. I like to be, huh? I like to be answers, and I'm also someone who's okay with losing, right? I think to be someone logical, you have to be okay with being wrong. You can't be a logical mind and be stubborn. I would say you have to be open to other side and be able to apply that too and see okay maybe they have a thing, right? I think when you hold on to something too much, it's going to be the thing that actually holds you back.
I
That's my
mean,
opinion
see,
on that.
like there's a famous Plato quote that says, "The mark of an uneducated mind is someone who cannot humor a thought."
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I
like
I
I,
100% agree with that.
I'm a firm believer that you can believe and hold whatever opinions you want, and you could still be able to just accept something, not believe it or agree with it, just accept something as is, but don't have to necessarily buy into it. And that
Yeah,
is a
no,
weird idea to people because it's like, no, we have to have some sort of conclusiveness to me. Bro, when you study like certain fields or when you read some things, when you're in certain fields or adopt a certain mindset that things will be incomplete, you know?
oh dude, of course, right? We there are so many things that people just we accept we don't know of anything, right? There's a lot of stuff that we just don't know,
We won't
right?
ever
And
know.
that's fine. There are multiple medical mysteries. There are multiple wonders that we do not know why they happen, right? And we can't know. We we might never know, or we're going towards learning it, right? It's like dinosaurs. We once thought dinosaurs are one way, then we believe they're a different way. Our ideas of dinosaurs constantly change, and that's just through research, right? We can't be definitive and still do research. That doesn't make any sense,
No, of
right?
course. I mean,
That's the whole point of
close,
research.
I mean, like, let's be honest. It's fine to close some doors, but there's some things where if it's open, it's okay. We can come back to it later.
Yeah,
She's there,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Okay, let's talk about Biggie. What's it? 3348, whatever it is.
Biggie, I blew Mark Savings on crypto. I shot a pistol.
Okay,
Not
so
at Frank
here's the
Castle,
thing
but
about
near Frank Castle.
here's the thing about Biggie, and I think I know why Biggie fucked himself incredibly hard. And I'll say this just because I know a little bit more about Biggie. I would say I know a little bit more about Biggie than like the average person, just because
How much do you know about Boogie,
there
actually?
he's
Because
joined some podcast. Huh?
are you a Boogie
Wait,
fan?
what? No, I'm not a Boogie fan. The reason I say I know this is because he's joined certain podcasts that I've like listened to. Like he's joined like Painkiller already. I've also heard him talk about personally his own financial situation. So I have a good, a little bit good deal of context of where this guy was personally, because he's talked about his finances a lot. This is not the first time he's talked about it. He's talked about it a lot. So the first time Biggie, one, two,
I,
three.
I should
What's
be
wrong?
I should be laughing, but like I watched a few drama videos of Boogie, and like I'm just thinking of all the shit that this motherfucker like has just been caught up in. His life is shit, but at the same time he fucks himself up half the time.
Oh yeah. But one thing I was gonna say is this, right? So Biggie said something that I kept in my head, and he said this like 4, maybe 5 years ago. And you want to know what it was?
Oh, I'm secure. I got money in the bank. I'm good.
No, 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 no. So he was talking. I think it was a Q and A. I don't know what it was, but he basically said this. He said that if he does really well on YouTube, he does really well on Twitch. He said that if he was making, he would still be happy making 10% of what he's making because he could live off that. He said, so again, he said he could live his lifestyle and still make 10% of all the money he makes,
Damn.
right? I don't know if any of the videos covered that you watched.
I remember. I think I seen that clip, but it was more just to lambast him.
It was no, but this clip was a long time ago, right?
Oh no! So
Obviously,
so someone
Biggie.
juxtaposed this old clip with the new clip where he's like, "I need money, guys."
Well, no, this clip was like really, really old, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
financially, he was okay, right? He was making hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? And he said that he said that he had enough money, not at that time, but recently, he said he had enough money that he should be able to live into his like, he wouldn't have to work up into his like 50s, right? And Biggie's like 40 something, right? So, he had a good nest egg, right? And if he was just keep doing what he's doing, he would have been okay, right? Then he went into crypto. He was doing good for a bit, and then he lost it all. I think the friend that made him lose all his money was McJuggernuggets, because a lot of YouTubers were following around him. He seemed like he was a guy who knew what he was doing with fucking money, but he didn't. Storyfire was a fucking crashing ball. He made a lot of people invest into it. Keemstar invested heavily into it.
It's a
A lot
shame.
of people had money on it who never got their money out. Storyfire was a dumpster fire. He I think Biggie almost bought a fucking Tesla because of McJuggernuggets. I don't think he did do it. I think he bought it and he returned it. But like the guy was making horrible financial decisions off someone else who was making very horrible business decisions. But the difference is McJuggernuggets is probably still fine financially just because he had such a big. If you know McJuggernuggets like come out, he's good. He's set for life.
I mean, I just think of that one legendary clip. It's not okay. It was a McJuggernuggets video where it's like, "What the hell is going on here? Get off my property!" It's like, "Daddy, chill."
No, no, no. Okay, I'm gonna say this: the McJuggerNugget Psycho Kid series was legendary.
Goated?
I watched.
Dare we say goated?
It was good. No, because like there were so many channels. Like, is this fake? Is it fake? And it wasn't. You have to understand, it was a daily vlog, but it was all scripted. It was actually like masterfully done. Like, honestly, it was actually like really good cinematography, right? Because I would say in general, majority of people thought it was real than fake, right? Even though it was obvious at times, but it was good. And these videos were getting millions and millions of views every day because he was getting put himself more in a worse and worse scenario. And then when the finale came, it was amazing, right? He probably made close to like he would have made tens of millions of dollars off that. And he was Twitch streaming at the time. He was getting a bunch of donations because people thought he was in a really bad situation. He made millions. He made tens of millions. That's why he was able to afford a media company.
Hmm.
Yeah, Justin.
I'm thinking because like I know he was massive back in the day. I don't know if he makes anything now these days.
He probably doesn't make a lot now, but he again, he trust me, he has I'm pretty sure the guy. No, he has money. He still has lots of money.
I wouldn't be
He
surprised.
still has lots of money. He trust me. He has houses. He has real estate. He has business. He has other businesses. He's set. He's someone who's legitimately set for life. Even if he doesn't make a lot, right? Even if he doesn't do much off camera, he's still set for life.
He's money's coming in instead of going out, is what I'm hearing.
He has plenty of money coming in. He has plenty. Yeah, he has plenty of money coming in. Right. Again like right. There's a lot of YouTube. There's actually funny. There's another YouTuber I watched, and he said he makes more money because he quit YouTube, right? And he does casual videos now, but he made more video. He said he makes more money just investing in businesses and just doing YouTube, right? And he doesn't need to. He doesn't even need to be like a face of the business. He just has to do work like once or twice a week, just because he has capital. And he's like, yeah, that's just the reality of things. You know, when your money makes your money, you're kind of just set.
Yeah, it that ball rolls itself, as they say.
Yeah, and but yeah, now Biggie 123. Let's talk about the crypto video. The man went broke on crypto like many other people. He lost it all. He could barely afford to pay his mortgage. He had a nest egg, and I basically I think what it was he like he said in his video, he had enough money to live into his 50s to 60s, but he wanted to live for the rest of his life because that wasn't secured yet. So he thought, okay, let me put it into crypto. I'm sure he hit his mark, and he got greedy, and he lost it all. And I'm pretty sure that's what happened, right?
I feel like
He
he,
his money's worth nothing.
I feel like he fucked up something else as well along the way.
No, he did. He bought a bunch of like collectibles like that were worth thousands and thousands of dollars. He generally fucked himself,
Jokes.
right? He generally fucked himself, right? He's not the first. It's funny too because I've been seeing a lot more YouTubers that have like fucked themselves financially. Some that actually had to go back to like working normal jobs. It's funny how like common it's been.
I mean, a lot of these guys thought they were invincible, to some degree, or they thought they were too good
Yeah,
for it.
I think what I would say it is like unless you've been doing it for like 3 years plus and it's like steadily growing, there's no reason to go balls to the wall. There's one YouTuber that I used to watch,
I mean, Mr. Beast hit a bill,
and
so like, apparently $1 billion was it?
huh?
Apparently, Mr. Beast is a billionaire, right?
I don't. No, he's not a billionaire.
I thought he was. I heard like,
No, no, no. He's like people are saying that him and a bunch of other YouTubers are going to become billionaires one day, but no, no, Mr. Beast's not a billionaire.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
I guess those.
I think he said he
I saw
spends like
I saw a thumbnail, so I just got confused.
no, I think Mr. Beast says like he spends so much of the money he makes off like doing things that like he's not as rich as people think he is.
Yeah,
He just has so much money coming in,
which I mean,
but he
that's.
also does bigger and bigger stuff.
I mean, I respect it.
Right? But I was gonna say um one YouTuber that I watched, basically what happened to him was he got 100K subs, but he was making a lot of money because he was doing League of Legend videos, and the thing with League of Legend, like doing game videos like that, because the videos are longer, he was making a lot, and he said he was making like 30 to 40 grand a month, right? And then 30 to 40 grand got cut in half, and then it got cut in half again, and to the point where he just wasn't making anything. And he bought two houses, right? Not just one, two. So he had two mortgages. He was not making any money from the YouTube. His mom was calling him a failure. He was like literally going down into like depression. He got a job at a sushi store, and he's doing a lot better for himself. But yeah, no, the guy went from making lots of money, felt like he was like invincible, bought two houses, and yeah, he kind of fucked himself. Apparently, he said he bought a house for like 800K, and it was in some reason it went down in value, like half its value, which he I don't know how that happens. He
How
must
the
have picked like the worst deal in history.
how the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but that's apparently what happened.
Mad.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Biggie. How did you feel about the Biggie video? He was basically e-begging.
No, he's e-begging now. It's just like, wow. Either the economy's going hard, or some people. I mean, like, okay, low-key, there's a meme that like YouTube isn't like. There's kind of a meme that YouTubing isn't a real job, and these guys should go work a real job, right?
Yeah.
And this was sort of like a reinforcement of that. But even then, it's like, wow, I thought Boogie would be immune from this shit. Like, he has his base, he he was kind of drifting into lol cow territory, but then now I feel like he's actually like full falling into it, free falling into it.
Well, I think the thing is too was like Biggie was he was spending. He's again. He said he spent a lot of money on bullshit, and he spent a lot of money on crypto. He didn't. I don't think he had any like tangible like investments like property or anything. I think he just didn't really believe in that. So he just, you know, he kind of fucked himself, right? And no one can really like, you know, thing, right? When he was making a lot of money on crypto, he was the first person to get on camera and say he's rich, he got money. And when he loses it all, he's in a really shitty place, right? And, he's not going to be the first person who went from riches to rags, right? How many people who won the lottery or multiple people who became like millionaires lost it all? It happens, right? And a lot of that happens. A lot of that is lifestyle. If you live a certain lifestyle, and you can't afford it, that happens. Multiple like sports players, they don't have the foundation. They make all that money and they lose it all. It just happens, right? And yeah, yeah.
It's disturbing how many people want to get into media creation, but they don't understand like what to do with the money. Like one thing is, it's one thing to make it big, but there's another thing what to do afterwards. Like, there's seen plenty
Oh,
of
it's not even just media creation. It happens to a lot of people,
yeah,
where they
no,
just
no, no,
don't have right. It's there's plenty of people in media creation who make money and still become they're fine. They don't do anything. They
no, of course,
they
but those
understand how to
those are
spend and
those
they're
are the
extremely
stories you don't
frugal.
hear about though, right?
No, there's plenty of people who talks about it too, right? And there's a lot of people who are like,
What I'm trying to emphasize is we hear about the fucking fuck ups more than like the decent successes.
yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say is like you'll see that with like any field where someone makes more like a crazy amount of money than
Fall off.
yeah, right. Like I watched something where this guy was talking about how he had a friend who made like he made roughly like 500K a year. He had like a really really good like job, right? Like he had a corporate job, but his spending habits were so bad that literally at the end of the year he had like next to nothing, right?
Lifestyle
He was
inflation.
literally living paycheck to paycheck. And studies support this too, that people who do it was like something like people who make over 100 to 200,000 dollars a year, like still a large majority, not a large majority, but a good percentage of them still live paycheck to paycheck. Because even if you make good money, doesn't mean you have good spending habits,
No, you don't.
right? Right. So I'm not going to blame content creators. I don't think content creators have. I don't think it's skewed on them. I think they're just more on camera. So when you do see someone who's very very successful and that something happens to them, then obviously it's going to appear like it more likely happens to them. But I think, again, statistically, it happens to everyone pretty evenly around the board, right? And a lot of people just don't have that discipline with money. I honestly, I do. I'll say this, and will say something in favor of Biggie. I do think he did have some discipline when it came to money, right? I think he understood how much he was able to spend and how much he couldn't. I don't think he had his financial advisor, but I think he had enough common sense because clearly he had enough money for not a retirement, but if something was to happen, he would have like 10 to 20 years to figure out his shit, right? So, I will at least applaud him for that. It's just that he got impatient, which is the worst thing to do. He didn't talk to enough people. He blamed it on his friends, even though it's like, again, this is why I don't give friends, I don't tell friends what to invest in. Right? People ask me all the time what to invest in. I'll tell them, like, no, do your own research, do your own stuff, because, like, I don't want to be responsible if you fuck up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Jesse.
you don't want that to be on you. Even like
Yeah,
a
you
lot
don't
of
want
people.
them to be on you. You don't want them
I
to log
mean, it's not even you don't want that to be on you. You also have to understand. I mean, not you have to understand. People have to understand that it suggests that, like, giving advice in general is something that you could be held liable for.
Uh, you can be liable for it. It's complicated. You can't be held accountable for legal advice. You can be accountable if you're a law student or a lawyer.
Yeah,
For financial advice, you can't actually, unless you're like a financial advisor. But if you're someone on camera advising people, then yes, you can be liable for it. If you're someone of note, you can be liable for it.
yeah. With that,
If
with
you're
that
if it's
preface in
your
mind,
random friend down the street, he can't be liable.
with that preface in mind. But even then, I wouldn't suggest, like, talk to people about these things. Encourage them to look into it. Maybe angles to attack from, but do not give them hard recommendations, because if you get into that habit of things, you never know when you might actually put someone in the hole in the ground, and they'll accuse you of doing that, and they'll try to go after you. And even if you are innocent, it doesn't help that it's going to be a waste of your time, and you're going to paint a target on your back that you don't need.
Yeah, no, that's why, again, like when I tell people to invest, I always say I'll show them resources to get educated, right? But I'll never tell someone, hey, yo, invest into this. Never, right? I'll
Never
give
in
them an
my
idea of how certain
days.
things work, huh?
Never in my days. No, I'm joking.
No, like even when Ethereum was like popping off, right? It was weird because like I was like, okay, Ethereum's doing really really well, right? But when I was exiting Ethereum, I told you I'm out. I'm like, yeah, I told you I'm cutting half, right? But
Yeah, I
you
don't
know,
think I'm doing
some
crypto.
people,
I think I'm going to quit crypto.
yeah, no, that's what I meant. Like, because like no, I was gonna say you got into Ethereum like 2 weeks before I left Ethereum, and I was like, oh, I mean,
Bro, I have probably some fucking assets that are sitting at like fucking 5 cents right now. I don't even know. I haven't even checked.
see, that's the thing. I was already done. Here's my thing, right? I was done with crypto because I took out everything already. I made out like a bandit. I was good. The only thing I actually had left was Litecoin that I left in BlockFly. Uh, Block. What's it called? Blockify.
BlockFi or something like that. Blockify. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I remember they kept telling me like they change their stuff, all the stuff. And I think now since FTX is going under, I think they're also going under too.
Oh, that was fucking crazy, bro. I remember fucking
Yeah.
one financial guy on NBC was like, "The emperor has no clothes." I was like, "Ooh, bro." When you bring out that classic one, ooh, that's dirty.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah, no, like I'm one of the lucky few who actually knew a little bit about fucking investing, not the crypto people who just went in, who
it's
went from being millionaires to
it's going
worth
to the
nothing.
moon, bro. It's going to the moon.
Yeah, no, and that's what I said. Like, I never maybe for me, don't follow don't follow what I do, but at least follow maybe follow my actions and
The
like
principles.
I guess I'll ask you because we were both in that situation. How did you feel when I was? Because I told you I cut my Ethereum in half, but you're still in. How did you feel? Like, how did you perceive that?
I was like, it's probably time to pull out, or maybe there's like I thought Loki. I thought you were like going like riding highs and scalping, but
Who, me?
yeah, I didn't realize you were like going to cut and leave. Not, I thought you were scalping. To be honest.
No, I cut. So what happened was Ethereum was going up like literally every other day. It was going up by like $1,000 or like significantly up, and I was like, and then people in certain parts of the internet were saying like Ethereum will never fall. It's just too stable. All this stuff. When I start hearing that kind of talk, I know that all the people who understand investment are about
Alarm
to pull out.
alarm
When
bells are
people get
ringing.
too comfortable, people are pulling
So
out.
you're saying alarm
And
bells are
I was
ringing.
one of them. I pulled the fuck out. Huh?
So alarm bells were ringing, right?
Yeah, yeah. All the warning signs were there. So I cut half. I sold half my Ethereum, so I was only getting half, like saying, and then Ethereum literally like I think like 2 or 3 days after I cut, it tanked.
That's pretty raw, bro.
Huh?
That's pretty raw. That's pretty raw.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, what did you think when I was like, yeah, I'm cutting half my assets.
I was like a bit disconcerted. To be fair, I thought it was either like you're moving somewhere else, you were scalping. To be honest, I don't think I listened to you properly, which I probably should have in hindsight. But say, Levy.
No, I was like, no, because like there's too many warning signs that this shit was gonna crash, right? And I was like, yeah, there's no, because obviously I was going to tell you to pull out, right? That was my personal decision. But I just like informed you, like, yo, I cut half of
You
it.
told me to be careful, and I was like, okay, I'll keep that in mind, right? Uh,
Yeah.
to
And,
be fair, I don't think I had much Ethereum, but I don't know. Maybe I do. I don't think I have much because I think I converted to something
well,
else.
no, when you bought it, that was the one, that was the first one you bought was Ethereum.
Yeah, it was the first one I bought, but then I like converted to something else, and then I switched over to some
Yeah.
other things, right? Uh,
Yeah. But,
I
yeah.
did. I chopped it up in some other ways, but like afterwards, I don't know what happened to it. I mean, I could open like some of my other accounts and see what like fuck. I haven't opened any of my accounts in like a long time. Do I even have Binance still? Oh, I do.
Nah, that's not Binance. Binance basically fucked FTX. So, yeah.
Yo, they snaked him.
No, there's a reason why they went broke.
Jokes.
Yeah. They literally they were gonna save them. They basically fucked them in every single way. Like in every single way possible, they fucked them.
Phenomenal.
Yep. But yeah, no, that's basically what happened. I saw fucking warning signs. I dipped out. Didn't really look back. Didn't feel the need to go back into crypto, and luckily I didn't. Um, but yeah, even people are giving like Graham Stephan shit, who was kind of considered like the golden boy of like finance.
I don't have a Binance account.
Huh?
I don't have a Binance account anymore.
Who? Graham Stephan?
No, me.
Oh, you don't have one anymore?
Apparently I not because I haven't logged. I tried logging. It's like account doesn't exist. It's like, did they close my account?
Oh, did you? They sent emails saying that if you're Canadian, you need to because there was like a law against fraud in Canada. You have to like resend in all your stuff,
Oh, I don't have that much money to be
right? So
honest.
like to revalidate or like passport and all that.
I think I
Yeah, if they
lost.
didn't, then there's a 30-day close notice.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, most Binance emails go to the fucking trash.
Yeah,
Junk. Because it is junk, let's be honest.
it is junk. Yeah, but yeah, no.
Well, I mean, I had like $100 maybe dollars of like some fucking random Ethereum split off.
I mean that's not too bad,
It's
right?
no,
That's
it's a
not
big
a bad
loss.
loss. No, I made my money and I got the fuck out. I left. I was like, nah, you guys are getting too comfortable.
Yeah, but you know one thing I do regret? I fucking had Terra, bro. I fucking ate shit on that.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, you didn't know Terra crashed?
Oh yeah, you had Terra.
Yeah, I had Terra.
How much Terra did you have?
Not an insane amount, but I had like one whole Luna coin.
Mm.
And then some of that Terra like how do you say it? The stable coin.
Oh. Okay. TUSD.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I remember your thing. I remember you kept sending videos about it, and I was like, I don't know.
I mean, thank God I don't have much money to waste on these things. Ironically, I mean, like Luna's still up there. It's still available. It doesn't mean it's worth anything,
Yeah,
but I have it. I mean,
yeah.
unless this rebounds in a fucking decade or so, there's nothing here, right?
I think personally, I think Bitcoin still has hope. I think Ethereum still has hope, but I do think a lot of
I mean,
yeah. But yeah, no, I think
it's always fucking Bitcoin, man. It just seems like even nothing else matters but Bitcoin.
no. I was gonna say I think it's only gonna be Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think those are gonna be the only coins that are really gonna have any like real form of relevance.
Stable
I
coins, I
think they're
guess
just
maybe.
so. Hmm?
Stable coins, I guess but even stable coins aren't viable
No,
these days.
I don't even think like in my opinion, just personally, I think Bitcoin had a future, but there was way too much bad actors involved that just fucked it up for everybody. So the people who got their money, they're good. Everyone else is fucked, right? And I think you're really only going to be able to rely on something like Bitcoin and Ethereum just because they have like the foundation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, like currencies that thought people were gonna like go somewhere, like Cardano, fucking in the dump.
Yep, yep.
Currencies that people had a lot of hope for, just no. Such a shame.
The
Such a shame.
I still remember fucking Dogecoin. Oh man,
I have some Shiba. Actually, I have a lot of Shiba. Just as a joke, I bought like a
I
shit ton.
actually made actually. I will say this: I actually did make a decent amount of money off Shiba, but I only went into Shiba once.
See, I own a little bit of Shiba. Like I have okay. I jokingly bought a shit ton of $20 worth of Shiba when it was like nothing, and then I still lost more money. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it.
I got Shiba. I think I got Shiba when it was like I don't know. It was starting to like bubble up in conversations. I got Shiba, and then I think it went. It was like the next day, it went like crazy, and then I was like, okay, I'm happy. I'm gone.
Yeah. So we're like,
Peace.
yeah. This is catastrophic losses. Like, we're four zeros
I
away.
don't. I guess that's the thing with me is like I don't stick to like shit coins like for long, right? I'm in and out. Or you
Yeah.
day trade them, right?
What else could
Like
you
I was
feasibly
day trading
do?
Ethereum. That was really fun. Hmm?
What else could you do though? Right. That's my question. Right.
Yeah, right. It's like again, like with Ethereum, it was like super easy to just day trade it. Like I was literally just sitting there on my computer, just just buying and selling, and it was making like at one point it was like $6 or $7 every like few minutes, right? So it depends, right? There was so much that people could do with crypto. Like it was like it was pretty easy to make money off crypto, but there were just way too many fucking dumbasses. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, the NFTs
You
also
know
was
that meme?
cancer.
You know that meme where that guy's yelling at Walt? You had a good thing, Walter.
We had a good thing, Walter.
That's how I feel about the
Yo,
crypto
yo,
community.
honestly, you could take any fucking thing. Is it bad that Breaking Bad has become like a fucking meme?
No, that means it's just that means it's solidified with
It's,
SpongeBob.
I mean, I like to use that photo of Jesse just screaming, or the one where he's like, "You can't keep on like just any
You
scene
keep
where
on getting away with
any
this.
scene with Jesse's having a mental breakdown is literally like just meme material.
Yeah,
Just
but
take can't keep Walter.
we had a good thing, Walter.
We had a good
And that's
thing,
basically
Walter.
what happened, though. I was like, "Yo, dude, if people just didn't want to fucking scam all the time, if people were just a little bit more, if there was something, if it was just a good thing, uh, it could be, dude. We could be having this podcast right now, and I could just be fucking day trading Ethereum, but people just wanted to get too fucking comfortable. people just decided not to have common
You know,
sense.
well, I don't know if crypto's ever going to recover. Maybe it will, but like not in a long time.
I think well I generally do believe it will recover, but only like Bitcoin and Ethereum.
I hate the fact it's letting Bitcoin Ethereum. I believe in the possibility of alternate coins.
I think the trust is not there anymore. I think there's just been way too many bad actors, and
You know,
as much as people will like might not like to admit it, the only coins where it hasn't been like super fucked has been Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? And Ethereum's worth nothing now. People don't mine it anymore because you don't need. It's because like people don't even consider it worth mining anymore
I mean,
because
it's better. It's better off not to mine it. Ironically,
well, no, they made it where it's like eco friendly, and people were like, oh fuck that, because you don't need like graphics card or anything like that. You don't need anything, right?
okay.
And then yeah, it's just it's literally it uses 99.9% less energy to mine it, and everyone decided like, oh fuck it, I'm not going to use it anymore. So yeah, its value went down. So I think really the only thing would be Bitcoin.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Yeah. Um. But yeah, we had a good thing going. We really had a good thing going. But it's okay. I think if as long as you came out profitable or didn't come out too scathed, just be happy. There are some people who literally lost their life savings. There are literally people who are. I'll be honest. If the suicide count raises this year, I wouldn't be surprised. That's all I'm gonna say.
All I'm gonna say, to add with Dante, in my opinion, I believe. Well, in my opinion, I don't know if that counts for much, but um, it just feels like this is the 20s again.
Oh, the Roaring Twenties,
Yeah, the
right
Roaring.
before the Great
It,
Depression.
I'm just waiting for like I'm waiting for like not Graham Stephan. I'm waiting for like the Benjamin Graham of crypto to be like, yeah, this was all bullshit. Everyone's a fucking idiot. Don't listen to them.
I'm
Don't listen to fund managers. They're full of shit. I want the intelligent investor, but for crypto, because I'm reading that book. Great book, recommended for a lot of people, especially in investing. Then it will take your
No,
investing to the next level.
I was gonna say yeah. Graham Stephan lost a lot of face with a lot of
Not
people.
not Graham Stephan, Benjamin Graham. There's a big difference.
Okay. Oh, I thought you said Graham Stephan. No, because of the FTX thing, because he was like a massive sponsor. A lot of people like trusted him, and then CoffeeZilla was basically like, yeah, like don't trust these people. Like
Yeah,
there's no reason to trust them.
I'd agree. It's a shame though, because I do like Graham, but he was a crypto darling. I will say you were right about
Well, no,
that.
he well, okay, Graham. When I say people lost face with Graham, it was just more that because he was sponsored by FTX, he pushed them, and he did make a video kind of warning like what's going to happen, like a day before it closed down. Right, he said his partnership was terminated, but he's CoffeeZilla kind of went at him for kind of hurdling people to FTX in the first place because of just how FTX was marketed. Um, and the thing with Graham, he was very transparent. He said that crypto was only 2% of his like portfolio, so it was basically nothing to him. But he was still getting paid by a crypto company, right? So
I mean, he disclosed it at least, but yeah, I can see why people would be upset with him.
yeah, right. Um, yeah, I mean that's just kind of finance. You know, finance is dangerous because you're literally playing with someone's livelihood, right? So you got to be wary, especially when you're putting in your money. And it's honestly a little bit shame on people who have like family, children, or whatever, and they're willing to risk such a large portion of their livelihood on something that's not guaranteed, where they don't have enough information. Right? You shouldn't be dropping. You can't drop your life savings expecting to be rich and have people feel bad for you when you lose it. That's all I'm gonna
I
say.
feel bad for their
You gamble.
kids and families.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, no, I'm talking about like just people in general, people who don't have kids or anything. Um, in general, that's bad on you, right? You shouldn't take such big risk, right? Yes, the reward is big, but the risk you have to also think about the risk. You know?
It's just crazy to me, man. Because I remember the
Yeah.
GameStop thing had like a bunch of stories of people just fucking losing their minds.
Yeah, no, even with GameStop, like I was in with that. But again, I got into GameStop because one, I heard it before it became mainstream. So I was like, let me dip my toe in, let me jump into it. And when it was all over the news, I was constantly in and out, right?
This
But
man
again, it's a
cut.
case where it's like, hmm?
This man cut. No, I'm joking.
No, no, but that's the thing. Like the reason why the diamond hand mentality is retarded is that you don't make money that way. You don't make money by sticking into a stock hoping that it gets this arbitrary like number. No, you have to buy. You literally need to if you want to make money in stocks, you literally have to buy and sell. This whole idea of holding is just a fucking gimmick for people who just holding is for people. It's a distraction.
You hold bonds.
That's all it is. It's just a
you,
distraction.
you hold bonds.
It's to hold the value of the coin, so people who actually are who know what they're doing could take their money out, and when you guys decide to huddle together when the thing drops, they can buy back in and take the ride again and come right off. But holding is such a dumb mentality. Stocks, you need to buy and sell them. You can't just hold on to them because you never make any money.
I mean, the only kind of stocks that you'd make money are the ones that pay out to you as an investor, but that's not
Yeah, if it
everybody.
pays, I guess I should say, yeah, if it pays out dividends, right? But you don't. But that's the problem too, is that these guys are putting like $2,000 in a stock, and they're not selling, they're not holding, but they're expecting that $2,000 is going to make them a millionaire. You're not going to be a millionaire off one stock if you're putting that little bit amount of money, right? Unless you became extremely lucky, it's just not going to happen. So if you want to build that wealth, you need to buy and sell, right? That's how you make money in stocks. If you hold it, even if it pays you dividends, it's not going to pay you that much money,
No, yeah, of course. Well, it's a whole thing
right?
of leverage.
You put
It's
$2,000. You put $2,000 in dividends. Maybe let's say you're getting like 8% back. If you might get like 100, maybe $150 if you're lucky. You're not getting that much money.
no, you're not. But it's about the long term hold and sell for a lot of things. Some things are slow growth. Some things are
So
invest.
some things are slow. Some things are slow grow, but not when it's super volatile.
Yeah, well, no, you can't. Well, that's the thing. There's you gotta understand. There's more the type of ways investing than just the volatile growth, right?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. That's the problem is that a lot of these people buy into these things hoping to be multimillionaires within weeks of putting in money, do not have any conscious, don't understand that they need to buy and sell. What I'm trying to say is that if you want to make money into stocks, regardless if it's dividend stocks or normal stocks, you're gonna have to buy you have to buy it and sell it. You have to know the value of the stock, right? The value of a stock when I bought it at 10 cents and now it's worth $1 is very different from when you bought it at 90 cents and now it's worth $1. That stock is just more valuable to me because I will get more money out of it. That's all it is, right? And the whole mentality just doesn't work. Yes, if you're doing a long-term investment, yeah, obviously hold that money. There's nothing wrong with that, especially if you're doing things like ETFs or mutual funds or, you know, any of those stuff, right? Um, but if you're just, you know, if you're trying to buy into these stocks that are sold to you as being your trip to retirement, like, brother, you got to
Brother,
learn to you got to learn you have to learn how to fucking invest.
my brother in
You have
Christ, my
if you're
brother, my brother in
if you're
Christ.
hitting, huh? What
My,
happened?
I was gonna say, my brother in Christ. You gotta learn this ain't the game.
Yeah, exactly. My brother in Christ. All right. If if you if you put $10, if the stock was $10 and now it's worth 20, it's okay to sell. It's okay to sell unless if it drops to 15 and you're like, oh shit, I lost my profit. That's on you, right? You can't be anxious. Majority of times, and that's the thing. That's the difference between people who make money and lose money in stocks. A lot of time is risk management, right? I have sold multiple times way before the peak. Selling at the peak is extremely rare. Most people who do stocks don't try to sell at the peak because they realize that doesn't make any sense. When Elon went on TV trying to make Dogecoin get to $1, everyone who knew anything about investing, the people, because the thing is, the people who are smart have much more capital into the stock than you. So, of course, they're going to sell at a very, very high amount, right? They're going to sell, they're going to control most of the volume, and it's not going to get to $1 because everyone's going to pull out before. Because anyone who wanted to sell at 80 cents are going to get undercut by anyone who wanted to get sold at 75, and people who want to sell at 75 are going to get undercut by people who want to sell at 70. That's just how the game works. And everyone who wanted to hold till $1 went broke. Yeah. What's your thoughts?
I mean, my thoughts is, well, I'm pretty conservative when it, ironically, except with crypto. Crypto was the only thing I was willing to get frisky with. I guess you could say that was my penny stocks, and it failed.
That was your penny stocks?
It failed miserably, is all I'm
Yeah.
gonna say.
Yeah, that's what I mean, right? Don't crypto again. Crypto's the last thing you should feel like you need to hold. There's no like commission fees or anything.
I've talked to some mans and it says like, yeah, I'm gonna bet $300-$400 to the moon with like some random currencies, and I looked at it and I didn't know how to say to him that it is so fundamentally wrong.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I always say if you want to learn how to invest, put yourself in some of the hardest ways of investing. Get into fucking penny stock. Penny stocks are super hard to make money on. You need to generally know your shit, right? You can get lucky, but you generally need to know your shit, right? Um, and again, like if you're going into something like penny stocks, which is very volatile, you can buy in at very low. You can kind of play around with it. Um, yeah, do that because it just doesn't really make sense to go in on a stock just to lose all your money if you're going to just hold on to it, right? You know, it's rare for me to hold on to a stock, especially a penny stock, for more than like 2 weeks, right? It depends on what it is. If it's like a REITs or something, I'll hold on to that for much, much longer. Or if it's, depending on the stock, but most stocks I just don't hold on to for that long. I'm constantly buying and selling. That's the whole point of the stock market. And I think that information hasn't fully been relayed to a lot of the general public who feel like they shouldn't do that. And I think that's why a lot of people will fail. A lot of people just can't do that because you have to buy and sell. Right?
You bought, but you didn't sell. Crazy, am I right?
Because here's the thing. This is one thing you'll realize with the difference between people who know something about investing and people who don't. Ask someone their exit strategy. Want to know what most people's exit strategy is for retirement off a stock?
I'm afraid to ask.
Retirement.
It's not that.
They all expect, oh, I'm waiting for it to be worth, 10 times I put in 100. They'll be like, I know this thing is going to grow big, so I put $20,000 of my life savings in. If that doubles, I'm happy. I'm good. They fuck up. They lose all their money. Most people who know their exit strategy is, they're saying like, okay, if it gets up to this percent, which is generally reasonable based off like they go through the history of the stock, what's going on, how it's being perceived by people, right? And saying like, okay, once it hits around here, right, it's like it's projected to hit around 50 cents, right? I'm going to probably sell closer to like 30, 40 and see how it is, see if it's dipped past my marker, stuff like that. It's a lot more logical, a lot more understanding, and it has nothing to do with them fucking retiring in Cancun, right? It has nothing to do with that, right? Okay, ask one of your friends. Don't tell them what it is, but ask them what their if you know that they invest. Ask them what their exit strategy is for like the next big stock, the next big stock or crypto or whatever comes out. Ask them what their exit strategy is.
It seems like they don't have one.
But you have friends who've invested, right?
Well, they don't talk about exit. They talk about getting in and then making it, and that's it.
But you need an exit strategy. When I buy a stock, I think about I'm going to leave at this time. when I see certain things, I'm gonna leave. Right? You do too, right?
I I know that every relationship has an end.
Oh,
You know, we might have had some good times. You made me some money, but in the end of the day, like we have to part eventually.
you think that's the thing? He's like, it doesn't have to be a part. It could. It's not a part forever. It could just be
Well,
a goodbye. You know,
it's not a part
for
for.
now.
It's not. Yeah, for now. But sometimes it is like, yeah, we're gonna leave, right?
Yeah. Again, that's just my main problem with like a lot of people who just don't know anything about investing, and this they're it's sad because it's very similar to it's like the lottery where there's no cap, right? If you buy a lottery ticket, it's like how much are lottery tickets?
They could be like, I don't know. I haven't bought one in a long because most of the time when I had to bought one, it was for like a relative.
I think I don't know. Let's say you buy a lottery ticket, it's like $5. $5 for a lottery ticket. You either win or you lose, whatever. But it's a set price. It's stocks, crypto. There's no set price. You're buying in. You're like, because the most people, it's sad, but a lot of people think this. If I have $20,000 in the bank and I can double it because, every day there's going to be one stock out there that's going to 2x or something like that, right? Maybe not, but you're going to have successful stocks. You're going to have unsuccessful stocks. You're going to have days where the whole market's red, right? Um, and basically, you're going to see people who believe that, hey, if I can just get this lucky, if I can get lucky, it's gambling basically. And I've said it many times, stocks are just calculated gambling. Um, I know not exactly, but that's how some people play it. And, again, someone has 20 grand, they will want to throw in their 20 grand into a stock and hoping that they double their money. Okay, but what happens when the stock they put it in crashes, and now their 20 grand is only worth like 3 or 4 grand? They probably will have problems sleeping at night, right? Yeah, that's basically what happens, right? There's just too many stories of people losing it all because they don't know what to do, and it's sad. And that's why I always say, work from the bottom, have some kind of common sense, have
If you
something.
like, if you want to understand what insanity looks like, just go look at GameStop during like the Diamond Hands phase, and you just look into. It's just torture porn, to be honest. Because Dante showed me some
Yep.
screenshots, and I was like, "This is literal torture. Like, I cannot physically watch this."
I mean, it was not just games. It wasn't just GameStop. It was also Dogecoin. I saw it all. I saw it before all that, right? Penny stocks. I saw it on anything where someone kind of goes in and believes that they're going in because the problem with a young investor. I don't even want to call these guys investor. The problem with these people
Gamblers.
is they go in thinking it's easier than it is. The reality is that stock markets is extremely complex. You need to understand you kind of need to understand economics. You have to understand the market. You have to understand so many different areas of what's going on, stuff like that, right? Yes, there are people who can just spend money and make money. And you can invest in many ways. That's why some people do real estate. That's why some people do stocks. That's why some people invest into businesses. Personally, some people try to get percentages of companies. It just doesn't make sense sometimes, to be honest. Honestly, shout out. You know what? You wonder who my favorite investor of this year is?
Ooh.
The guy who spent $40,000 to get into a Nintendo stock meeting.
Oh, for F Zero.
Stock meeting. Yep,
Shout out to that king.
that guy. That's my favorite investor because he didn't invest to get money. He invested to get somewhere. That's respectable.
I didn't invest for the money. I like that. He doesn't invest to get money. He invests to get somewhere.
That's what he did.
But
He
that's
got into a Nintendo
okay.
meeting.
That's a motto though. You should coin that.
I don't know. I'm sorry. That should he should coin that, not me.
No,
Because
but
that's what he did, man. He wanted to be
and
somewhere.
I like how they had to like
Congrats.
actually like seriously confront what he was saying. It's like, yeah, sorry, this is not gonna work. We're
Well,
not.
they have to because he holds a lot of shares.
Yeah, he holds a lot of shares, so they're just like they it's fucked up because like most of the time I feel like Nintendo hates their fans just as a joke, right?
I will say I am shocked that $40,000 is enough to get into a Nintendo shareholder meeting.
I mean, 40,000 is it's not like okay. I should say it's
I'm pretty sure
it's
there are
somewhat
some.
substantive.
I am pretty sure there are some companies where you would need to drop like a few 100,000
Oh, for
to get in.
sure. There's no.
Probably close to the millions.
I don't doubt that, but the thing is, like, you don't need to be out.
Nintendo's a Nintendo makes 50 billion a year.
Do they?
$40,000 is like a couple minutes for them.
I mean, I don't know. How much is their stock volume? How many stocks do they have, right?
Let me check actually.
Like, you gotta understand how much stock value out there and how much volume they have, how much their price per stock is, right? So, like,
Uh,
technically by ratio, the guy just barely qualifies, just barely.
it is $56 for a Nintendo
Ooh,
stock.
56 times. Actually, no. If we could
Mm.
boil that down into shares, like, this man has a fair
Yeah, I
bit
kind
of.
of want to buy some Nintendo stuff.
Oh, is it looking good?
Because the reason I want to buy some Nintendo, thinking about Nintendo stock, is that the next console might be around the corner, and that's when stocks are about to go up.
Yo, fuck that Switch. Yo, no Switch. No Switch Pro. We're just going to the next console. Love to see it, Nintendo.
No, no, Switch is around their time period. Came out in 2016. It's time. 6 years.
It's time.
It's time.
It's
It's,
time.
it's time for the next gen.
I mean, low key. I
There's
mean,
no need for a Switch Pro.
I haven't even
This
touched half the Switch
maybe
games.
hot take. We got the Steam Deck. Fuck the Switch Pro.
Damn. Say it ain't
Well,
so.
okay. Here's my thing with the Switch Pro. The games are still going to be the fucking same.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
The games are going to be the same. Maybe it's going to be a higher output to the video. I don't want a bigger Switch, to be honest. I think the Switch is big enough. Because if you're going to make the Switch bigger, just make it a home console. Just make it a dedicated home console.
Just give me
I don't
better.
think there's a need for a Switch
Give
Pro.
me good Joy Cons and not chip memory.
Yeah. Yeah,
Honest.
because that's the thing too, right? There's analog sticks that are like magnetized. I forget what they're called, but they're basically virtually on. They're basically like virtually. The percentage of failure is extremely low, right? Versus like analog sticks, which do have like a shelf life. So yeah, it sucks,
It do be like that.
but yeah. Uh, but yeah.
Any additional thoughts?
No, no, no. I think that was a good episode. We talked about a lot of things. We talked about being an idea man. We talked about Biggie going into I don't know. Good luck to Biggie.
Just gonna call it
I
Boogie's.
hope he said
Boogie's.
he's trying to get a job.
What skills does he have? No, no, I'm joking. I'm joking. Can he? Okay, yo, real talks. How's this guy
I
gonna get?
mean, he used to be a web
How's he?
developer.
How the fuck is he gonna get out of his house?
Hmm?
Is this fucked up?
He cut off. What did you say?
I said, how is this man gonna leave his house?
Just work at home. He used to be a web developer.
Oh yeah, I forget. A lot of these people were like, they have training of some kind or
Yeah,
skills. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. No, no. But yeah, no. Good luck to Biggie. Hopefully, something happens. Hopefully, his channel does a little bit better. I mean, I know a lot of people are preying on his downfall. I don't want to see the man. I don't see a man lose everything, but you can't go out on the internet begging for shit. You already built the platform with 4.4 million subs, right? You're still getting some views, right? You know, just make it. That's all I can say, I guess.
Just get good.
Just get good. Um, but yeah, I would say that's it. We also talked about FTX failing. Crypto bros, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Some of you guys went from millionaires to losing everything. There was one guy that was getting clowned on because he had $1 million in FTX, and FTX wouldn't let him take out his money. Rip to that guy.
Yo, that guy's. I'd fucking kill myself if I was him.
That's what I mean. Like I'm not trying to joke. But a lot of those people they put in money because they only think about the highs, and then when the lows comes, the consequences that they did not think about, the more likely consequences, they can't sleep at night because they realize they lost years of work, years of things, and they don't know how they're going to get it back. Right?
How do you rebound from that, right?
I mean, if you work, like imagine you worked your ass off for years. You saved up $100,000 that you have just as a cushion, and you're like, I am tired of working as hard as I fucking do. I'm tired of waking up every day. I have a broken car. My house needs repairing on the roof, but I'm trying to save some money for retirement. And you're trying to look for an exit plan, right? You're desperate, and then you see people keep talking about do this, do this, do this, and you listen to them, and then your $100,000 that you worked your fucking ass off for is now only worth $10,000. You probably would be partially suicidal,
I mean, if you don't have no family, if you don't got no family, you got no support circle, you just on your own. Yeah, I could see suicide being not on the table, but like it's.
right? But you have to look at the flip side. If that person $100,000 turns out and they go into a stock and that stock goes crazy and then they make $400,000 to $500,000, that guy is going to be like shitting on people. He's going to, probably tell his boss, yo, fuck off. I'm good. I'm just going to keep doing this shit. And then, yeah, you know.
Oh man, it's wild. I just a mill, bro. You had the mill, and then and it's ripped away from you just like that.
He had the mill, and then FTX is like, sorry, we're kind of in debt right now.
Yo, sorry, we going under. We gonna need your money.
Chapter, they said they were good. The next day, we filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Bro, they hit you. They hit that. They literally just hit that man with the Chapter 11. It's like this man could get gangbanged in an alley. And I mean, like sexually, without consent, and that probably feel less worse than this.
Dude, yep, he is.
Done.
He's fucked. He's fucked. His net worth went from, dude, in a day, his net worth went from 16 billion to $1 billion. The CEO
Yeah,
of FTX,
he's good. He's great.
and apparently he took a flight to Argentina. The man fled the country.
Of course, it's Argentina, bro.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I suppose that's all. Stay safe, kiddos. Don't be boogie. Don't be crypto. I blame the NFT.
Don't be.
I blame the NFT bros. I think they're the fucking worst of them all. But that's besides the point.
Dude, NFT bros are fucking are probably in the gutter too, because like, if crypto's down, NFT is way
well,
down,
and you know,
and NFT was going down every. Yeah.
and you know what? They get what they fucking deserve.
Oh, you want to know something? NFTs are like gone when all the like celebrities and all them stuff pushing NFTs don't say a word anymore.
Oh, that's true.
They don't say nothing about NFTs anymore
Their mouths are shut.
because they probably are gone. They probably realize, oh, this shit's bullshit. And then the common people who was like, oh, if I buy this funny looking monkey for like $40,000, $100,000, I'm gonna be a billionaire. Okay. Oh, it's worth nothing now. Well, I'm fucked.
How do you rebound?
It,
How do you
it's a
rebound?
funny, it's a sad thought, but there's probably like a good number of those people who had to call their boss up like 6 or 7 months later, saying like, "Yo, can I come back to the office or something?" Like,
Would you
it's sad.
would you be that one guy would you be that one guy and be like, "Yeah, you can come back."
Maybe I'll be like, "Yeah, no, because people make mistakes, right? Just as long as you own up to it."
Guys, just keep in mind, Dante, great boss. He'll take care of you. If you fuck up and be a chuckle fuck, he'll forgive you, but he'll still, but never let them forget.
Forgiven but not forgotten.
Yeah, yo, facts. I would be that dirt.
You would be like, "No, fuck off."
No, no, no. I'd let them back in, and I'd also remind them, like, oh, it's a shame what happened to FTX.
Damn.
Couldn't happen to a better person.
Like, oh man, didn't you? I remember when you left, you had a Porsche. Why are you driving a Camry now? What happened?
Yo,
Come to
what's
the
that?
Porsche.
Yo, I thought you had an Aston Martin. Why am I looking at a sedan?
Oh no. Yeah, what happened? Damn, you went from a Rolls Royce to a GMC? That sucks. That's tough.
Say it ain't so, Brampton, man.
Oh damn, is the GMC the Brampton car?
Oh damn, man, you backed out of the
GMC's are
Civic.
nice.
Oh man, you bringing back the Civic, or did the Civic came back for you?
Well, you cut off.
Oh, it's fine. So I think that's about
Yo,
it.
you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
But yeah, I would say that's it. It was a nice episode. Got a lost off.
Good one.
No, you there?